One of the first questions I always ask someone that comes on board when they come for mentorship, I said, okay, how much are you worth per hour? What is your rate per hour? And a lot of people can't tell me because they're like, well, I don't actually pay myself a salary. Okay, let's work this backwards. How much do you want to earn for yourself per month? Divide that by 21 days, divide that by 9 hours a day, okay? That's your rate per hour. That's what it's worth. So when you go and you have to go and sit and let's say go and do your social media posting, or you need to go and go figure out Kajabi.
Yes.
Okay. You can go figure out, or you need to put your lessons to show, or an emailer needs to go out, or whatever the case is. So put a cost to that. How long is that going to take? Everyone says, oh no, it's only 10 minutes. Please, I want to see how many of these tasks really take 10 minutes. We love to say 10 minutes, it's like, I'll be there in a second.
So today's expert is a master entrepreneur. He has over 25 years of experience, and he has successfully started 7 to 8 figure businesses and has helped thousands of entrepreneurs start and grow their business. He's the founder of Upstart Entrepreneurs, and he delivers lessons for entrepreneurs every day. And I don't know how he does that, but he does that. So welcome, Denis Fourie.
Hey, Kathy, are you well?
Yes. So I want to talk about the lessons, because you literally send something out every day. So how do you come up with your lessons?
It is, I'd be sitting after a call with a client and I kind of think, okay, what are the lessons that I learned from this? And I'll write a few down, and I normally just write down the headlines, like a kind of bullet point thing. And this often happens, I could be watching TV with my daughter, I could be standing making coffee, and I'm like, oh, wait a second, we've got to do this. And I grab my phone out and I'm quickly typing up something. And I put down rough drafts. And once I've got the rough drafts, I've got all of these lessons, which I just constantly post out. Now, the funny thing about the lessons is that I actually, the lessons that you see maybe today, I actually drafted about 2 or 3 months ago. And they were scheduled 2 or 3 months ago really to post today. So my lessons are actually kind of pre-scheduled, to be honest with you. So it's not like every day I just quickly type it out, but it's just random thoughts of things that I've seen people struggling with, and I just want to say, how can I help someone? And obviously, I tend to be quite blunt in my lessons. As you've noticed, I kind of call it spade a spade.
I have. We'll talk about that in a
bit. So it's not there to coddle you. It's
So tell me, what do you see entrepreneurs struggling the most with today?
I think today, if you had to look at it in today's day and age, I think it's actually information. To be honest with you, I think there's such an overflow of information out there that people are getting confused as to what to do. For instance, if you wanted to start an online course, okay, all I want to do is I want to go and teach someone pottery as an example. Let's use that as an example. What systems do I need to use? And suddenly you're getting advice from 20 different systems you need to use. And it's like, well, do you do Evergreen? Do you do Live? Do you do this? Do you do that? And eventually, you're just a poor course creator that's got this amazing ability to teach people. And you're getting bogged down with all of this other information out there. And most of it is not really relevant information. It's not relevant to how do I actually go get the customer? How do I actually attract that customer and pull them in? And the same with e-com. Which platform should you use? How many products should you list? What products should you be listing? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you get bogged down in so much other rubbish, that you eventually get so scared and you end up holding yourself back quite a bit. So I think it's too much information that's out there, or too much conflicting information, because everyone's got an opinion. I've got an opinion, as well. But so I try and break it down for entrepreneurs. So let's keep to the basics. What are the basics that you need to get yourself out there? How do you get to that first 10K, and then that 50K, and then the 100K, and take it up, phase it up. Stop trying to look at what $1 million amount of business does and try and implement that, scale it down. So, start somewhere and build it up.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. The reason I asked you that question is that you had posted something, and I'm going to paraphrase it because I can't really say it in this recording. But basically, don't do dumb stuff twice. So, in essence, don't repeat your mistakes over and over again, correct?
Yeah, 100%. Because, someone else is going to come and they're just going to sugarcoat it, wrap it in a different piece of paper, present it differently to you. And, people tend to like, oh, okay, this must be different. Let's do that. It's the same crap, all over again. So stop doing dumb crap twice.
Okay.
Just learn from your mistakes. See what has worked, what hasn't worked. Be intelligent enough, clever enough to ask the question, how is this different from what I did before?
Mm-hmm.
Does it just look different? Or is it actually going to make a difference? Because let's face it, any decision we make needs to affect, one of three areas, preferably all three. Does it increase revenue? Does it increase productivity? Does it reduce operational expense? Okay, those are the only three things that you should be concerned about. So whether you're making a decision on what tech you're going to buy, or what marketing company you're going to appoint, or whatever it is, a printer you're going to buy for the office, look at those and see how's it answering those questions. Is it going to increase productivity? Is it going to increase revenue? Is it going to reduce your operational expense?
Oh, absolutely.
And make a decision based on that.
So do you do that every day? Is that something that maybe every day you ask that question to yourself? I mean, do you recommend that? Like, as like first thing in the morning, say, okay, today, how am I going to increase revenue? How am I going to increase my profitability? And then what can I do to lower my expenses? I mean, do you recommend that?
I definitely do, especially when you're a startup. I mean, it becomes second nature. I've done this for 25 years. So for 25 years, I can look at something. For instance, we had to actually go buy one of these multi-printers, for the office. And I was like, okay, well, do I really need it? Do I really need it? I know that my admin ladies love it. I know my finance lady loves it. Okay. But do we honestly need it? Why can't this be digital? Why can't, if we're using QuickBooks and that and everything's digital, I do everything digital anyway. Why are we printing stuff? Why do I need to go and spend, what was it, $10,000 on a multi-printer? It's like, what relevance is that? What relevance is there to that? Start getting our suppliers to actually give us digital invoices instead of, printed copies or whatever the case is. And I think it's more mindset change in that situation of, they grew up with this, you've got to file everything and have 1,000 files for everything. Like, well, no, we're using Dropbox. We're using the cloud. Dump the stuff in there. We've got systems. So yes, do I still ask that question? Yes, constantly. But I might not ask it every day, but it comes as second nature. When I look at something like that and say, no, sorry, we don't actually need that. Let's go digital. Let's go 100% digital rather. So do I think other entrepreneurs should be doing it every single day? Ask yourself, if you're going to go and invest in something, if I'm going to get, let's say, an e-commerce store, okay? And I'm going to go and get an app. Let's say it was an upsell app. That's an example. How's that? Is it going to increase your revenue in any way? Okay, well, it might. Okay, depending on how you implement it. So you got to go ask a few questions there. It's obviously not going to reduce your operational expenses at the end of the day because you're obviously going to be paying for that app. Okay, but is it going to increase productivity? Well, that's kind of neutral there. You don't really know if it is. But is it going to increase revenue? Yes. Now the question is this going to implement it short-term, medium-term, or long-term? Because you also got to look at that.
Yes.
Because short-term is within the next 30 days, this is going to generate me revenue. Am I going to make my money back? Because I need to investing in an app. And let's say the app costs you, I don't know, $50 a month, or whatever it is, right? $50 a month. How much revenue do I need to generate from the app to break even? How many sales is that? Now, if I'm selling an item at $20, I know that if I'm probably going to have to sell about 50 of those items to eventually break even, at the end of the day. But you've got to constantly be doing these calculations in your mind. Now, in my business, and in all the e-commerce stores that I've owned, and my online learning stores and that I have, I'm constantly doing those calculations. Every time I'm investing, say, okay, I don't look at what's the thing cost. I look at, well, how many of my Facebook courses do I need to sell before I break even on this? How many of these T-shirts at our T-shirt business do we need to sell to break even on the new printers, etc. And I'm constantly working it out that way, in terms of what's my return on investment at the end of the day? Where's my break even point? Rather than, it costs, $50 or $1,000 or $10,000 at the end of the day. So it's a very different way of looking at it.
No, it really is. Actually, I think I am going to, because there's a couple questions I ask myself every day. What can I do to make my business more profitable? And I have another question as well, but I love these because there is a lot of emotional buying, right? As an entrepreneur, because you see people using some app, you see somebody using something and you're like, oh, maybe I should get that too. You go, and the next thing you know, you have a $50 a month charge, $100 a month charge,
especially now,
whatever it is. Right.
That's crazy. That's the cost these days.
Yeah. And so if you look at that and go, okay, is that going to increase my revenue? Is it going to make me more profitable? And is this going to lower my operational expense?
And increase your productivity,
And your productivity, yes, operational and increase productivity.
So it's about productivity too. So I use an example. I get criticized quite a lot because I've got a domestic maid that basically cleans up after me all the time. Okay, that's her job, And my mother, my friends would go and say, but you're spoiled. Why, you can go and put the dishes away, you can go and clean this up, etc. Right. And I'm like, okay, my time is worth $300 an hour. Mm-hmm. Okay, at the end of the day, I would much rather go and say, listen, I'll pay you $100 a day. Or $200 a day, or whatever it is. I think it's $200 a day. $200 a day. Just make sure everything's clean. I don't want to have to wash dishes. I don't want to go and have to make my bed. I don't want to have to do that stuff. When I get up, I'm functioning straight away because I am also one of those entrepreneurs that I tend to wake up and I'm like, okay, let's go. And I move it. I immediately go from 0 to 180 miles an hour in a matter of minutes. It doesn't take.
You're very passionate. Yes.
Yeah. And so I'm immediately like up and I'm going. And I start sessions at about 6:30 a.m. in the mornings and I finish at about 10:30, 11 at night. So I've got sessions. I'm doing a long day most of the time. I don't have time to go and I'm going to go wash dishes. Yeah. So I'm looking at that cost calculation. So is this going to increase my productivity? Yes. Is it going to generate more revenue? Actually, yes, because now I've got an hour less of sweeping the floors, washing the floors, where I can spend with the client. Is it going to reduce my operational expenses? No, it's not going to reduce that. That's going to increase that. But that's fine. The two outweigh that. So it's like, great, do I make this decision? Yes, it's worth it.
Absolutely. And you can relate that to a lot of different things. So, because as entrepreneurs, we can't be good with everything. Like some people aren't good at tech. Some people aren't good at graphics. Back office systems, whatever it is. And your rate and the value that you offer is potentially higher, or you can produce more if you have that really clear focus rather than going, okay, I need to go create my Instagram post in Canva. Or I need to do something in my website in Kajabi or whatever software it is that you're using. Yes. If you hire those things out, it frees up your time so that you can really focus, 100%. You have clarity.
One of the first questions I always ask someone that comes on board when they come for mentorship, said, okay, how much are you worth per hour? What is your rate per hour? And a lot of people can't tell me because they're like, okay, well, I don't actually pay myself a salary. Okay, let's work this backwards. How much do you want to earn for yourself per month? Divide that by 21 days, divide that by 9 hours a day. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's your rate per hour. That's what it's worth. So when you go and you have to go and sit and let's say go and do your social media posting, or you need to go and, go figure out Kajabi.
Yes.
Okay. You can go figure out Kajabi. Well, you need to put your lessons to show, or an emailer needs to go out, or whatever the case is. Go put a cost to that. How long is that going to take? Everyone says, oh, no, it's only 10 minutes. Please, I want to see how many of these tasks really take 10 minutes. We love to say 10 minutes. It's like, I'll be there in a second. You're not. I'll be there in 5 minutes. But let's work out the true time that it's taking you. And if you say, okay, well, this is actually, you go do my social media post, log in, create the Canvas stuff, schedule them, make sure that you've got the right graphics in the right places, with the right text, hashtags, etc. Okay, so you go do a couple, it's going to take you 2 hours or even an hour. Okay, your rate is $300 an hour. Well, how much would you have paid a social media person per month to do that? Right. You would have probably paid them like $30 a day. Go and do something like that, which has just cost you $300 of your own time.
Well, the rate's a little different in the US.
Now you're not
for that, but
taking
yes.
into account the level of frustration, because now you're sitting there and like, but there's something I don't like about it. Now I'm going to change graphics now. Maybe if we play with this color and that color, because we're entrepreneurs, we're creatives, right? So we're constantly seeing how can we optimize things and change them about.
Yes, absolutely. So, it kind of rolls into exactly what you just said. I mean, what we've been talking about, because I wanted to ask you how, because businesses are really struggling right now to make money, to be profitable. So how do you turn the business around? Do you turn it around by asking these questions every day? I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me to ask these questions every day.
You definitely ask those every day. So.
Okay. Because I was like, is there anything else as far as like what you have seen, like when you're turning a business around? Let's say you have a business that's not making any money. You go through these steps then, right? Okay. You literally just pick the business apart saying, is this one thing increasing revenue? Is this one thing profitable? And then you
what I normally do is I kind of use like a formula that I first look at where are we struggling within the business, right? So I would say, okay, how many people are we targeting? How many people are we reaching? How many of those people are clicking through to our websites or to our courses or whatever the case is? How many of those, what percentage of those that are joining a mailing list? What percentage of those are we closing, right? If we're closing them, how often are they reoccurring? So what's their lifetime value? And you can't really say lifetime value. I work lifetime value out on an annual basis. So what's a customer working per year? Because nowadays, it's not like lifetime is, 3 years anymore, 2 years. It's like ongoing, right? What's that value at the end of the day? Then I say, okay, so what's my profit from this? So after, what's my gross profit? And then I look at my total operational expenses, and saying, okay, well, let's remove all the operational expenses. Now, what's my net profit? So I've got that calculation, which I'm literally writing down. This multiplied by 20% conversion. 30% of people that land on my site are now converted, and they sign up on a list. Of those, let's say 20% sign up again, which means that 100 people land, 20 people are going to sign up to my list, 4 people are going to buy, right? So really your conversion is actually 4% overall, if you think about that, right? So what I'm looking at when I look at all of these stats on a client, I'm saying, okay, where can we start? How do we fix that? Okay, how do we fix that conversion rate? How do we get more clients? Because if you want to reach this total in net profit, because I'm interested in net profit at the end of the day, I'm not interested in gross profit. I'm interested in how much money I can take home to go on my holiday in Hawaii if I want to. It's not about, gross profit really means is irrelevant these days. So I look at that total net profit. So, okay, currently your total net profit is, let's say, $10,000 a month or whatever the case is, $5,000 or $2,000 a month. How do we get that $2,000 to $10,000? Now we work it backwards. We're taking it back. So if we had to change that conversion rate, if we could change the 20% to 30%, how would that affect the numbers? And just by changing that one figure, and you could use Excel for this, you put in that in, change that one figure, and you'll suddenly see that 2,000 now has already jumped to probably about 5,000 quite easily, just by changing 10%. Okay, so what do we need to do to change that 20% to 30%? Is it a change on the website? It could be copy. Is it maybe the flow? Where are these people falling off? Is it better hook? Better story? How do we get people attracted? Do we just cut out the whole opt-in sequence completely and go straight to the sale? Does that make more sense? to say, listen, this is our course. This is what we're selling. This is our product. This is what we're selling. Here's the benefit. Selling them on why they need it. How's this going to solve a pain or fulfill a desire? And, focusing on all of those different areas. Each step, from the conversions all the way through to the cost, we cover each thing. So when we get to the costs, we're looking at those and saying, okay, do I need this? Mm-hmm. How's it increasing profits or revenue? How's it increasing productivity? And how's it reducing operational expenses? Obviously, it's not reducing operational expenses. Right. There. So how's it doing at least one of the other two? And if it isn't, why have we even got it in there?
Okay.
So
yeah, that's so good. That's so good. Because you got me thinking about, so if you look at all those factors and you look at your conversion rate and you're able to change your conversion rate from, let's say, 20% to 30% or whatever the number is, that right there could be a cash injection into your business.
It is
correct?
Huge. I mean, use your example of, let's say 100 people land on your page, 20% opt in. Okay, so you've got 20 people opting in and 20% of those, so 4 people buy, and you've got a product of $1,000. Okay, so you make $4,000 out of that as an example. That's an example, 4,000. Now, let's say we change that conversion and said it's now 30% opt in. So now you've got 30 people, okay, and it's 6. So now you've got 6 people, got 4 people on. So it's $6,000. You've just jumped up. You've grown your business 50%.
Yes, which is huge.
You've grown your business 50% by changing a 10% conversion alone. That's all you've done. You've just grown.
That really is something.
Really.
I mean, it makes you
it's like,
think.
Okay, so where do you focus? And the thing is, it becomes even more effective the closer to the client it is. In other words, when you start looking at from where you first meet them, from your first contact, the effect is much bigger than it is right at the end. Mm-hmm. Going to go and remove a monthly cost of $30, for printing isn't going to affect your margins drastically, but going to go and change a conversion rate right in the very beginning. And that's why marketing is so important. And that's why I push marketing quite a lot with customers too. Focus on your marketing, focus on your sales, get the customer in, right? Sales solves all problems. Let's be honest. You're a professional salesperson. I mean,
Yes.
It's sales solves all problems. I mean, sales come in, you don't care what things cost anymore.
Well, you still should, but it's not as important if you are scraping by and counting every penny. Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Denis. You're always a huge wealth of information. I love how you talked about the things that you should focus on every day, increase and what you're doing. Does it increase your revenue? Does it increase your profit, your net profitability? And does it lower your operational expense? I think I'm going to input that in my business, my mindset every day for sure. So thank you so much.
That's a pleasure. Just just go back to basics,
Yes.
Just keep it simple, just keep it short and simple. Then you can do it. I mean, it's 90% of what you're doing is mindset. Get your mindset right, get rid of the self-doubt, and stop listening to all the other noise around you and do what, focus on what's important to you. And you'll do it. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely. I love that. Keep it simple. Keep it simple superstar is kind of what the term I use.
There you go.
The KISS method. So yes, thanks again, Denis. I really appreciate it.
Kathy, always a pleasure. Thank you.